Hello everyone. In this video, I will discuss a brief description on column. So, the topics of my presentation is definition of column, failure modes of column, and specifications. What IS code gives, and what is effective length of column, load carrying capacity of a column, and design and its multiple choice questions. We will at the end we will discuss some multiple choice questions. So first thing, definition. So what is a column? So column is a vertical member which supports slab and beam and to transmit the load to foundation. You can see columns are primarily compression members, although they may also have to resist bending moment transmitted by beams. But as per IS 456-2000, clause number 25.2.1, column or strut is a compression member, the effective length of which exceeds 3 times the least lateral dimension. Here I have shown L effective greater than equals to 3 into LLT, that is least lateral dimension. Now columns are of two types. One is either short column or slender column. When we will call a column as short column and when we will call a column as slender column, when effective length by dimension is less than 12 in both the axes, that is L effective in x axis and L effective in y axis. When both are L effective by D is less than 12 and also LEY by B less than 12, then we will call it as short column, otherwise we will call it as long column. Then minimum eccentricity. When we will design a column, all columns should be designed for a minimum eccentricity. That is, in a column, beam is placed like this. So load may not be coming exactly at the axis line of the column. Sometimes due to manufacturing process or anything else, the load axis slightly deviates. So that's why we are taking a minimum eccentricity of L by 500 plus D by 30 or 20 mm, whichever is more. That is, we have to calculate both L by 500 plus D by 30 and 20. Out of this, whichever is more, that will be taken as minimum eccentricity. That means we have to design for that much eccentricity. Then there is some common cross sections of column, that is a square column, a circular column and a rectangular column. Here we can see that there are 4 longitudinal reinforcements in a square column and 6 longitudinal reinforcement in a circular column. These things are important from the exam point of view because multiple choice question will come from this side. And the failure modes of column. How the column will fail? Basically, a column will fail either in compression or buckling. If a short column will fail in compression and a long column or slender column will fail in buckling. Now some specifications. These specifications are taken from IS 456-2000, page number 48 and clause 26.5.3. You should go through the code. So when we talk about a column, it have a dimension made up of concrete and reinforcements are embedded in it. These are called longitudinal reinforcement. Also there are transverse reinforcement tied like this. So this is the top view. If we see the longitudinal view, column will appear like this, and reinforcement would be embedded like this and ties. So this specifications tells what should be the amount of steel, and what should be the minimum amount of steel, what should be the maximum amount of steel, and what should be the minimum dimension of this bar. So we see that minimum cross sectional area of steel. What should be the minimum cross sectional area of this longitudinal reinforcement? So this should be 0.8% of Ag. What is Ag means? Here Ag means gross sectional area, that is the whole area which makes the column. We can see that in this whole area there are concrete, this much amount of concrete, and this much amount of steel are there. So the gross area constitutes area of concrete and area of steel. So we will denote area of concrete as AC and area of steel as ASC, because the steel, here compressive load is coming, so that steel will try to compress. That's why the C term is we are using ASC. So gross area, we will take minimum steel area as 0.8% of Ag, and how much maximum we can take? We can take maximum 6% of Ag. That is, we won't take more than 6%. In case lapping is done, like we don't have longitudinal reinforcement of much length, when we will use lapping, like when we will increase the length of the reinforcements. So here lapping we have to do, like we have to tie together the longitudinal reinforcement. In this case we should not go more than 4% of Ag. So these are the reinforcement, how much maximum and how much minimum we can provide in a column. Now we have a longitudinal reinforcement. What should be is its size. It should not be so small that it will buckle easily. So its minimum size is taken 12 mm. So when we see a rod or bar, its diameter should be minimum 12 mm. Now when we see number of bars, number of bars means in a column, see we have a common cross section. So if the cross section is rectangular or square, we have to put minimum 4 number of longitudinal reinforcement. But in case of a circular column, we have to put minimum 6 number of reinforcement as longitudinal reinforcement. And what the last term is spacing between longitudinal bars. So here we have a distance. This should be maximum 300 mm. We should not provide these two longitudinal bars more spaced apart. So this should be less than 300 mm and this should be less than 300 mm. Here also we should measure and we should ensure that the distance between longitudinal bars should be less than 300 mm. Now we don't have only longitudinal reinforcement, we also have lateral lateral reinforcement or lateral ties. Okay. What is lateral ties? I already showed you. These are the, if these are the longitudinal reinforcement, we also have transverse reinforcement or lateral ties. See, we can see here also. See, these are the longitudinal reinforcements and these are the lateral ties. So these ties hold the reinforcement together so that the longitudinal bar will not buckle. These are called lateral ties. So if we have lateral ties also, then we should also have to know that what should be its spacing, at what spacing we should provide, and what should be its size. So that first of all we need to decide the size. What should be its? We will provide transverse reinforcement, something like that. So what should be the size? Size should be minimum dia by 4. Diameter of longitudinal bar by 4 means we are providing longitudinal reinforcement. This have some size, so we have to tie this. What should be the size of this reinforcement? Diameter by 4. So this is the main reinforcement or longitudinal reinforcement by 4 or 6 mm. We will see whether this value is coming more or this value is coming more. In between these two, whichever comes more, that should be the minimum size of lateral tie. Then spacing also we need to provide. At what spacing we should provide it. Like what should be the distance between two lateral reinforcements. So this should be based on the following criteria. Like least lateral dimension. Least lateral dimension means what is the column dimension. We have two dimensions. One is B and one is D. Maybe both are same in case of a square column, but if both are not same, then what is the minimum dimension? So either minimum dimension and 16 times diameter of longitudinal bar, this longitudinal bar, and also 300. We will see these three things and we will decide which one is minimum. We should provide the spacing less than all three of these. Next, effective length. When we have a column, the column must be supported in the two ends. Based on that, we will calculate what is the effective length. Effective length means it is the distance between point of contraflexor, like where the bending occurring, where the bending actually occurring. If we see first case, both ends are pinned or hinged, means we have a column which has a length of L. This is the unsupported length, and these things are taken from IS code. Annexure E, page number 94. Length is L, unsupported length means this is the end and this is the end, and it is pinned or hinged. Then effective length will be L, because this column will try to bend like this. And when the two ends are fixed, second case both ends are fixed like this. If both ends are fixed, then if unsupported length is L, then what will be the effective length? Effective length, the column will try to bend like this because this is fixed. Now the effective length will be from here to here, and this distance is effective length, which is equals to 0.65 L. Now similarly, one end fixed and other end free. So here if it is fixed, then this will try to bend like this. This distance will become our effective length, which will be sorry, the fourth case is one end fixed and other end pinned. There effective length will be 0.8 times L. Similarly, if one end is free and if one end is fixed and other end is free, then this will try to bend like this. So it will become L effective will become 2L if this is our L. This is the effective length of column. Next, load carrying capacity. We have a column, then how much load it can take? Definitely every structure takes some load. If we keep on increasing, it will fail at some point. So at what point a column will fail? Just a small decrease in load, the structure will safely transmit. So what is that load we have to find? Suppose we have a column and we are applying load. So what is that load we can apply so that this column will not fail? So this is based on the clause. We have as per clause 39.3, when minimum eccentricity is less than 0.05 d. I already told you every column should be designed for minimum eccentricity, which I already told you, like L by 500 plus D by 30 or 20, whichever is more. From that we will compare with 0.05 D. So first suppose our E minimum is L by 500 plus D by 30 or 20, whichever is more. Suppose this value comes 19 and this is 20. So E minimum will be 20. Then we will find what is 0.05 D. We have a D value. Suppose this is 23. Then this condition is satisfied, like E minimum is less than 0.05 D. In that case, what is the maximum load that the column can carry? 0.4 FCK AC plus 0.67 FY into ASC, where PU is the ultimate load carrying capacity of column. FCK you already know, it is the characteristic strength of concrete. AC is, I told you, a column contains reinforcement and concrete. So AC is concrete area, this area, and ASC is this reinforcement area, and Fy is the yield strength of steel, the rod we are using. The rod also have some strength and the concrete also have some strength. So FCK is strength of concrete and Fy is strength of steel, and combinedly AC and ASC becomes gross area. So from this, let's see some multiple choice questions. See, our first question is, a column is considered long if the effective length to least lateral dimension is more than. We saw that when L effective by D and L effective by B both are less than 12, it is called short column. Then when it will become long? When it is more than 12. So when effective length to least lateral dimension is more than 12, we can call it as a long column. Here next question we can see, in limit state design as per IS recommendation. So the formula was according to IS code, when minimum eccentricity does not exceed 0.05 D. This is the condition. E minimum less than 0.05 D. So in that case, what should be the load carrying capacity? The factor load carrying capacity of the column with usual notation. So we saw that formula was 0.4 FCK AC plus 0.67 Fy into ASC. Here we can see the IS 456-2000 recommends that in any column reinforcement shall not be more than, what is the maximum value of reinforcement? We saw that 6%. 6% of gross area. Next, the minimum number of longitudinal bars to be provided in a circular column is, if the column is circular, minimum 6 number of bars should be provided as longitudinal reinforcement. Next question, in a column, minimum diameter of the longitudinal bar to be used is, so what should be the minimum size of longitudinal reinforcement bar? We saw that it was 12 mm. Next, all columns shall be designed for minimum eccentricity equals to. So here you can see all columns should be designed for minimum eccentricity of Ly 500 plus Dy 30 and 20 mm. So another option is given, lower value of A and B. Answer should be higher value of A and B, because we saw that maximum value of E minimum should be maximum more of Ly 500 plus Dy 30 and 20 mm. Next question, what is the recommended value of effective length if the column is effectively held in position and fixed against rotation in both ends? So here the question is, what is the effective length? What is the effective length? Here see the constraints are, the column is effectively held in position and fixed against rotation. What do you mean by that? See, effectively held means if this is a end and this is a end. So first para denotes that effectively held in position means this point will not move because it is effectively held in same position, and fixed against rotation means, what is rotation? When load applies, this tries to bend, right? So this becomes rotation. So it is saying that fixed against rotation in both ends. So this is not allowed to rotate. That means our column becomes, this will not move from here and also not rotate. That means it will become straight, then it will start bending, then again it will come back to same position, because at both ends movement of support is not allowed and rotation also not allowed. That means what we see, this is the condition of fixed support, right? So L effective will become 0.65 L. L is the unsupported length. So thank you.